Just wanted to take a couple minutes and sort of explain why your body hurts from sitting at a computer all day. In my mind, it's always better the devil that you know than the one that you don't. So starting from like the 30,000 foot view, the reason it hurts is because your body wasn't meant to sit at a desk all day. Probably not all that surprising to you, but if this is even just 100 years ago, back to the beginning of mankind, you wouldn't find adults sitting around all day long. We'd be up hunting and gathering, right? So our bodies, the pain that we experience is usually our body telling us, hey, this position is like not what we're looking for, right? It's not conducive for the human condition, only conducive to make money. So the reasons that your body doesn't like to sit here all day long. Number one is, if we're going to talk about your knees, the way that they get nutrients is by flexing and extending. That pumps in and out the nutrients, and without motion, they tend to get arthritic. At your hips, there's a muscle called psoas, and the psoas is a hip flexor, and its job is to raise your knee toward your chest. As you're stuck sitting in a chair for 30 hours, 40 hours a week, that muscle tends to tighten down. If it's not allowed to be elongated, it's just gonna take up that slack and just stay tight and short. The next area that people have problems with is their upper back. The upper back tends to round and roll as you sit at a computer and focus on your job. So there's a thing called upper cross syndrome, and upper cross is where the muscles in your chest, your lower chest and lower neck muscles are very tight, and those muscles on the opposite side are very weak. The ones in the neck are the opposite. The ones in the front of your neck are very weak. The ones in the back are very tight. Those tight muscles up here can lead to headaches, achiness in here. Those tight muscles from the hips that I was talking about earlier, they cause lower back pain. And it's all from just sitting at the computer, right? The other thing that's pretty common is people getting like carpal tunnel syndrome or cysts in their wrists. And that's basically, you can see it at this table really easy. Because my elbow is slightly below my work, I have to raise to get up to my keyboard. That raising causes my wrist to sit on the keyboard, and it also makes me use up these muscles. And the combination of those two causes all kinds of problems in your wrist. So long story short, you weren't meant to be sitting here. But there are ways that you can sort of negate some of the problems that start to arise the longer you sit.